Hi, I'm really not feeling it right now. I'm not matching, so that makes me feel a little bit awkward, but here we are. What has helped me with feeling weird is Brat. I loved Brat over the summer. What I've really wanted to do is do Brat movie recommendation. You might be wondering what constitutes as a Brat movie, and I should say Charlie XCX. Wait, where's my mic? Okay. Charlie XCX has actually made a list. She curated a movie list and talking about what inspired her Brat album. I recommend you check those movies out. I think they're great, but I'm going to talk about my own experience with Brat, what I think constitutes as a Brat movie essential. And I do want to say off the top also, there are so many Brat movies. I actually had a little tag over the summer, Brat Girl Summer, and basically there's so many of them that are Brat coded. But I want to talk about the essentials of what makes a true Brat movie. What makes a Brat movie? And I think I came up with the 4 things. Number 1, you kind of have to be simple and direct. Charlie XCX has talked about a lot about how she wanted Brat to kind of resemble text messages. She wanted her lyrics to resemble text messages or conversations with friends. She's not looking for all these metaphorical stuff. I mean, I know Apple's kind of like that, but whatever. Kind of be simple and direct with what you're trying to say, I think is one thing. Number 2, you have to be visually distinct and kind of retro. 2000s is a clear inspiration of Brat, obviously, and I think having some kind of visual distinction in your film makes it Brat coded no matter what that kind of is. I know I've been seeing people say that Mean Girls is Brat coded, but that's just too clean polished to me. A real Brat movie, you have some kind of look to you. You have a little thing going on. You have to be vulnerable and honest. You have to kind of be true. No hold back. No holding back. You got to be true. Kind of be a little bit snarky, a little bit individualistic. You can't be an insider. You got to be an outliner. That's basically Charlie Angel's whole thing. And then you got to be fun. That's another Charlie thing. She's not here trying to make us weep our eyes out. I mean, she does, but whatever. She's here to have fun like the rest of us, and that's what these movies should represent. Fun. So yeah, I recorded this all for multiple days. That's why the shirt changed. So here's how this is going to work. I am going to rank it on those 4 categories I put down. I'm going to rank it 1 out of 10 on Bratness, and then we're just going to keep going. Alright, first we have Party Girl. Party Girl is basically about Mary. She basically is living that club life. But then she takes a job at a library and she starts to change a little bit and starts to grow up. It's a very simple story. It's a lot of fun. It's very stylized. It stars Parker Posey. I think it's really fun watch. And as for its Bratness, it's very visually distinct. The character herself is a Brat, and it's just a lot of fun. And also kind of talks about how you don't have to fit into this kind of box. For Bratness, I think I'll give it a solid 7. For Party Monster, I gave 3.5 out of 5 stars and a heart. I really enjoyed it. Let's go with The Substance. Substance is a 2024 movie. Actually, it's about a celebrity. She basically does workout videos, and her celebrity is falling. She's about to get fired. She's in because of her middle age, and she finds something called the substance, which will basically make another version of herself, which is essentially supposed to be the more perfect version. It stars Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley. The Substance, I loved it. It very much talks about identity. It's a very visually distinct style of filmmaking, one that's definitely Brat. It's a very visceral movie. This is not just your typical body horror movie. This will make you flinch. I promise you will flinch at least one time during this, unless you're a psychopath. But it talks a lot about identity and celebrity and how that push you have, this push to try to strive to be your perfect self. What will you do to be your perfect self? It explores that in such a deep way, such a deep and honest and violent way of tackling dysphoria that is really honest and is really Brat. For Bratness, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars and a heart. It's one of my favorite movies of the year so far, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. It's What's Inside. It's What's Inside is something I watched recently. That's kind of a Bratish movie. Basically follows a pre-wedding party, and all these group of friends go together, but this one friend brings a suitcase, and in it is the ability to switch bodies, and basically follows these people as they're kind of finding their identity and their impulses of, oh, I'm in this body now, I can maybe get this girl, and what will I figure out if I'm in this person? What will I figure about other people if I'm in this person? How will people perceive me with this new body? How will I perceive myself or other people like my ex or like my ex or my crush if I'm like this. And it basically follows like what we will do to get that image. It's kind of like Substance in that way when it talks about like dysphoria and identity. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars and a heart. For brattiness is very visually distinct. I think it could have maybe gone deeper as to like its themes about dysphoria and stuff like that, but it's a really fun film. It's a really fun film, so I'm gonna give it 6 out of 10 on brattiness. Climax is a very insane film. Shout out Giova for recommending me it. It basically follows a dance troupe at an empty school in the middle of nowhere, and basically their strings get spiked, and it's a one-shot film of all of them losing their goddamn minds. They're just going on an LSD journey. Is insane. It's insane. Visually 10 out of 10. Story-wise, it is very weird because we're just like one shot of this ensemble. We're like going through one character and then maybe it's one character, then it's a switch. And we're kind of seeing like how the LSD has affected them on such a deep way. Like they're deepest secrets about each other, their deepest desires, they're on full display, no filter, and it's really interesting to see how they react to that, because it's not like their like deepest desires are being spilled, like it's on a heightened level. So brattiness, I'll give like an 8 out of 10. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars and a heart. A lot of these I gave hearts. I saw the TV Glow. Just read my review on Letterboxd for that. It basically follows teenager Owen, who is trying to make his way through life, and then he meets Maddie, who is obsessed with this like Buffy the Vampire Slayer show, and it basically just like goes through their life. Like it basically just like goes through this kid's life as his obsession with this TV show and their fears with who he thinks he really is. Visually, it's insane. It's very honest. It's a very honest movie. It's so visceral. So visceral and visually and emotionally. 10 out of 10 on brattiness. I gave it 5 stars and a heart. It's currently my #1 movie of the year. Bound is a movie following an ex-convict who meets a housewife, this like mobster, and together they start a love affair and plan to steal all this money from the mob. It's a really fun film. It's from the Wachowskis, the directors of The Matrix. 4 out of 5 stars and a heart. It's really fun film. I don't want to give much away because it's like a very fun, twisty heist movie, and it's not like honest, but it's just a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Brattiness, I'd give it like a solid 7. Party Monster, I'm just gonna say a 10 out of 10 on Brat. In fact, this is actually one of Charlie's things that she put for the curated. This basically follows the New York club scene of the 80s and 90s, Macaulay Culkin and Seth Green. This is not a good movie, but it is so fun. Basically just play club kids, and it basically just follows them and their insane lives. Visually, it's really insane. It's digital camera recorder, and it looks bad, but it also like it very much fits. It's a very stylized movie. There's fourth wall breaks. It's a 10 out of 10 on Brat. I gave it 3 stars and a heart. I watched it twice. I loved it. It's so weird though. 13 is about a 13-year-old girl, Tracy, who befriends Evie. She's the most popular girl in school, but she's also kind of like a party girl, and it basically just follows Tracy kind of going to the dark side a little bit. She's trying drugs, she's doing all this, all that. Visually, it very much fits Brat. I mean, it's like one of those like, it's that weird like blue filter that 2000 movies put on, you know, blue filter, like almost like looks like a camcorder. I think it really fits it well. I give it 4.5 out of 5 stars and a heart. It's very honest portrayal. I think for Brat, I give it like a 9. Ingrid Goes West, I gave 4 stars and a heart. Basically follows Ingrid, and she becomes obsessed with Elizabeth Olsen, who is a social media influencer. This has a stacked cast, like O'Shea Jackson Jr., Aubrey Plaza, Wyatt Russell. How far it actually goes to explore what people will take to not only be famous, but to have friends through the social media landscape. I was surprised by the depths of this movie, like honestly. And visually, there's nothing like extremely like bold about it, but that's also kind of the point, as it's kind of like showing like the fakeness of it, and like how everything in social media is supposed to look like super clean and fun. Like it really plays with that, and I think in a visual standpoint, and it makes for good comedy. So Brattiness, I think I'd give it a solid 7. Poor Things basically follows Bella Baxter, whose brain is the mind of an infant, but she's in Emma Stone's body. And this film is wild. I don't know when it takes place, because you know there's flying cars, but it's also supposed to be set in like 18th century, as is, that's kind of what the politics are but again, there's flying cars. Basically, it tackles identity and sexuality and what it means when you don't have all these like standards of what it means, all these like political standards you have to live up to. What if you just don't have them? Because you know, when you're a kid, you don't really have those standards, but when you grow up, they're kind of built in you. But what if you just kind of miss that step? Bond portrayal is very honest visually. I can go on and on. 5 stars and a heart. I give it like 9 out of 10 on Bratness. Bottoms is about 2 kids who start a fight club to have sex with cheerleaders. Brat, 10 out of 10. I don't even need to explain why. Worst person in the world basically follows. So this movie is quite possibly one of the brattiest of them all. I'll give it 10 out of 10 stars. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars and a heart. It was one of my favorite movies of that year. Like visually is insane, it's very honest and vulnerable, but in the way that Brat is, and it's also a lot of fun. This was my magnum opus, by the way. This was my magnum opus. This is like why I really want to start this channel, was for this video. I wanted to do it since maybe since the album came out. I wanted to do this video, but at first I was like, I don't really want to start a channel. Then when I did start a channel, a bunch of school stuff happened and I couldn't. So this was my magnum opus. Please enjoy.